Alyson Stoner just reminded the world that growing up isn't a scandal, it's a transformation. And when her bikini photos surfaced online, they didn't just show a confident woman enjoying her moment. They reignited a conversation that has been waiting to happen for years. Because Alyson is no longer the child star in baggy cargo pants, dancing her heart out in Missy Elliott videos, or the sweet kid from Cheaper by the dozen. And Camp Rock. She's a 30-year-old woman who has fought through the pressures of the industry, challenged unrealistic standards, and stepped into her identity with unshakable confidence. Yet what makes people react so intensely isn't the swimsuit itself, but the shift in perception. The reality check that someone they grew up watching has evolved into her own person. Unapologetic, bold, and independent. And while some fans celebrated her self-expression, others clutched onto nostalgia like it was a shield, refusing to accept that child stars grow up into adults with their own choices and voices. But that's exactly what makes Alyson's presence so powerful. Because she doesn't need to fit anyone's box anymore. She's not asking for permission. She's reclaiming her story in a way that speaks louder than any tabloid headline. And the truth is, those photos weren't even outrageous by Hollywood standards. They were stylish, summery, and tastefully bold. But because people still see her frozen in time, it sparked debates that said more about the audience's inability to let go than about Alyson herself. And what stands out most is how she's using this moment not as shock value, but as empowerment. As a reminder that her worth isn't tied to childhood innocence or people's projections. It's tied to her growth, her artistry, and her advocacy. Because she's been outspoken about identity, mental health, and the crushing weight of fame. And she's turned her platform into something more than just entertainment. She's turned it into a space for truth, healing, and authenticity. And that might be what unsettles critics far more than any bikini ever could. Because she's living proof that you can step out of Hollywood's child star machine with grace and still keep your voice intact. And in that sense, the photos become symbolic, a visual representation of a woman who refuses to hide, who isn't ashamed of her evolution, and who embraces her independence with a quiet strength that overshadows the noise. And when you look closer, it's not rebellion, it's reclamation. It's rewriting the narratives so many former child stars never got the chance to write for themselves, showing that the path doesn't have to end in tragedy or tabloid gossip. It can be about survival, resilience, and freedom. And maybe that's why it's rattling people. Because she's breaking the cycle, reminding the world that nostalgia shouldn't trap real people in the past. And for fans who have grown alongside her, it's refreshing to see someone own their evolution instead of apologizing for it. And whether she's in athleisure, red carpet glam, or a beach-ready two-piece, she carries herself with maturity and self-acceptance that silences critics, without ever lowering her voice, because she doesn't need to. She's already proven that authenticity has more staying power than clinging to a past image. And if anything, her journey exposes just how uncomfortable society is with watching women transition from childhood to womanhood in the public eye. Because people would rather keep their idols frozen in innocence than embrace the truth. That growth is inevitable. And Alyson is done playing by those rules. She's not that little girl anymore. She's grown, glamorous, unbothered, and fully in control of her story. And that, more than any bikini, is what's shaking things up, leaving one big question behind. Are people really upset at her? Or are they just struggling to accept that child stars aren't meant to stay children forever?